This is May 21st, 2022, like 7 in the morning. The theory of evolution gives an incomplete understanding as to how zoology unfolds. It is absolutely the mechanism, natural selection, I believe. I believe that. But I guess I just don't understand the theory well enough to, if I'm misunderstanding a parameter of it or something. But think of the ant. I think among kingdoms. Between kingdoms, at least, there are I think probably every species has like a ecological function, and that function in line with like a geologic, as in like Earth spectrum. But like something like the ant, which comes in is everywhere type of place except for Antarctica permafrost. But why didn't it get just huge? Like this thing, which goes and just picks up anything in a given field. It's going to be, if it's edible, if it's perishable, will be found by ants and will be eaten, or by birds if it's big enough, or little rodents. Like ants are like it's functionary like the bee. Because if it was just like, see, I'm probably not giving it simplistic. I'm probably thinking about it simplistically. That survival of the fittest just means like it was just a spur of the moment thought. But why didn't the ant keep growing? Where it's like, let's say there's a place with tons of resource. Why don't you see ants the size of cars that are like carrying buildings on their back? Because there are certainly environments which could foster that over a very long stretch. It's like the life course of an ant is not made for that. It's made as function to ecology and because you couldn't have like a bunch of perishable stuff. You have to have the ant, otherwise you'll have like ponds and puddle-sized things, deposits of like oil everywhere in the world, except the ant is there to constantly pick up every morsel of edible foodstuffs. It's entirely functionary. But if it's just survival of the fittest, and it implies a blueprint or a constituent design, or a design that knew ahead of time to make the ant and to limit it by its lifespan and its size to ever get bigger. And it limited that it made sure that didn't happen. Because there are carnivorous ants as well. I made a video called, that I'm going to probably name this the same thing, Antomology. I wondered if perhaps there aren't ants, like they just go for sugars. Maybe I didn't think it was normative, perhaps, that they eat proteins like meat. But they do. They'll eat carrion. They eat meat. You would think if they eat enough meat, that this thing should get huge. Because we are what we eat, literally. And that protein, out of whatever we eat, becomes us. The carbohydrate fuels us, and the water insulates. The fat insulates. Carbohydrate, it becomes you, but it is like the the trace of like think of an electricity. It's like the kinesiology electricity in your muscles. That's the more of the carbohydrate. Well, protein is the meat, literally, but the building structure, the infrastructure of the muscle. And fats just store are like batteries. Like the bee, they just found their niche. The bee and the ant, you say, found its niche and never needed to evolve. But what is there's yeah, who knows? You know though. But you know what though? Who knows? I guess it's one of those things I'll have to ask the Almighty. I was just wondering about those things out loud. And then, why didn't it get bigger? Pound for pound, that thing would come to dominate the planet. Jurassic ants, perhaps, made the caves. But they were only the size of like gerbils. That's how strong the fucking ant is. And the queen, of course, was the size of like a big bus. Go figure. So just sitting around while a man slaves away, brings home the sugar, brings home the good stuff. Am I right? Am I right, guys? Am I right?